Okay, Michael Wolff, very good to be back with you, sir. You are the man for the moment. You've been everywhere. I felt slightly cheated on while I was away because I kept seeing you in other podcasts.
That's what happens when you go away.
Well, I'm back, so no more, please. But, what are you hearing? What are you hearing from your sources in the White House?
I mean, it's full panic. I think people are genuinely, inside the White House, genuinely concerned about where we are. I mean, and I think they're confused about it because they don't know. It's not as if Donald Trump sits down and says, this is our exposure. He says, he just denies, which is actually, they call me to find out what I know.
So have any of them read the Epstein files? I mean, the documents that Pam Bondi told the president that he was in?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not actually sure that files in that coherent sense actually exist. And I think there are probably, if you defined what this is, it's pretty disparate. It's intelligence. It's Epstein intelligence, and he crops up all the time in it because, as you keep pointing out, he was an incredibly close friend of Jeffrey Epstein's for many, many years. Yeah, and I think this idea of the Epstein files is almost it may be kind of metaphoric. There are things that the government knows about Jeffrey Epstein. Is it gathered in one place? Is it accessible? Is it? I mean, for one of the things one of the things that would be particularly revelatory are the emails. Is that included? Well, we don't know.
Wait a minute, which emails?
Well, the email. They go into Epstein's house. They take his computer and his hard drives. Well, he has emails on there. Theoretically, I mean, how far back do your emails go? I'm sure that, but all Donald this. Trump
famously doesn't email, so he wouldn't be expected to have emails from the president on there.
No, but he's going to have emails from Steve Bannon on there, for instance, and many others. And he's going to be on, Epstein is going to be on the emails talking to other people. And Epstein spent a lot of time talking to people around Donald Trump. I mean, so just as for instance, Tom Barrack, who was a very close friend of Trump's, a senior-most advisor during the first administration, who is now the ambassador. I should have this at my fingertips, but I do not. The ambassador to somewhere. And who was actually indicted at one point.
I'm looking it up as you speak.
Indicted for various things having to do with his involvement with Trump. But
Turkey.
A very close friend of Jeffrey Epstein's. I knew Jeffrey Epstein introduced me to Tom Barrack during the first administration. But anyway, that's just one example of the kinds of people, of the kind of person Epstein would have been talking about Trump on a pretty constant basis.
Okay, so we know that inside the White House, they're completely panicked about how to handle this. This is totally riled up the MAGA base. It's not going away. The attempt to deflect by using Tulsi Gabbard to talk about Barack Obama hasn't worked. We're recording this on Friday lunchtime. Earlier this morning, the president, on his way to Scotland, said he had the power to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, but he hadn't yet thought about it. And
let me interrupt, though.
Hold on.
Yes.
But he also said that people should look at the former president of Harvard, Larry Summers, and other big private equity people who lived with Jeffrey Epstein, which Donald Trump certainly didn't do.
Well, I don't know. I think it's more Trump and Epstein lived spent significantly more time in proximity. I mean, so that's one of the things.
I wasn't meaning that they didn't live together. I was meaning Trump said that. Trump said he didn't live with Epstein.
Yes, but well, in the general sense, I mean, this is where MAGA has been hoisted to, which is to say, yeah, there are a lot of people. I mean, a formidable and eye-popping list of people who were around Jeffrey Epstein. Absolutely, and this is absolutely true. But that hardly negates the fact that the person who spent the most time with Jeffrey Epstein, I mean, more than a decade of constant contact, was Donald Trump. So this is. I mean, that deflection. Look over there. Larry Summers is going to be difficult, and I think it just kind of brings it actually back to the fact that yes, these guys spent time with them, and a lot of these people have their reputations and careers have been damaged because of it. But no one has spent as much time as Trump. I was talking to someone, a White House person, last night, and again, very, very worried. And it was a telling thing that they said. This person said, there's always been a kind of, fear of, Trump's, what he called Trump's bad boy years. But then he said, but now the fear is that those bad boy years may have been far badder than we really appreciate, and that they may be too bad for the MAGA people to tolerate.
So that's absolutely fascinating. I mean, not unlike actually P. Diddy with his bad boy records, and of course the freak-offs turned out to be much more violent than anybody expected. So I've been dying to talk to you about the birthday letter that Donald Trump apparently wrote for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, and this idea that they shared a wonderful secret. What do you think he's referring to?
I think that he is referring to the girlfriend that they shared at that point in time, 92, 93. So there was a woman, and as far as I know, she's not underage, but who they literally shared, who literally went back and forth between these two guys.
And she went back and forth in the same bed with the two of them? Was it a threesome, or she was dating both of them separately?
I don't know the mechanics. I know that during the same period, and they openly, this wasn't hidden from either one, they openly shared this particular woman, that she went out with both of them at the same time, and they both understood this.
So the Wall Street Journal's been doing some superb reporting on this, and obviously Trump is now suing the Wall Street Journal and taking on his old friend Rupert Murdoch. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think within the White House, I mean, I know some background here. Within the White House, they regard this, and briefly to recap, this is the Wall Street Journal published a letter that Donald Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein on the occasion of his 50th birthday in 1993. Trump, by the way, denies that he ever saw this letter, and it certainly was not his letter, although his signature seems pretty clearly to be Donald Trump, and it would have been completely in character for him to write his best friend this birthday greeting. At any rate, and this was solicited from Donald Trump. There were many others who wrote letters too, but solicited from Donald Trump by Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes, as Trump himself has pointed out, Bill Clinton also wrote a letter.
The view within the White House is that this letter came to the Wall Street Journal via the Maxwell side, the Maxwell family lawyers. Ghislaine Maxwell's brother has been very out front in defending his sister, who was in jail for 20 years.
Right, so this is Ian Maxwell. Who's a well-known figure in the London scene.
Exactly. So inside the White House, they believe this came from the Maxwell side, and they interpret this as a, quote, shot across the bow, which is to say that Ghislaine Maxwell, who at this point in her life has nothing to lose, and I am sure seeking leverage in any way she possibly can.
Please join me in applauding our producers of this episode, Devon Rogerino, Anna von Ursen, and our editor, Jessie Millward.